you'll see that everyone bows and curtsies to the king, and no one moves a limb, a muscle, when Camilla passes.
When palace insiders began whispering about Queen Camilla's newly revealed Tiara rules, few could have imagined the storm it would unleash inside the royal family. What seemed like a simple change to centuries-old jewelry traditions quickly turned into something far more dramatic. Suddenly, the glittering crowns worn by Princess Kate and Duchess Sophie were no longer just symbols of elegance. They had become symbols of power. Behind the palace doors, tensions reportedly rose, and Prince William was said to be furious. But what exactly changed in the royal vaults, and why has it shaken the monarchy's delicate balance? This is the story, the secret power of royal tiaras. To most people, tiaras are simply stunning, sparkling accessories. Beautiful crowns meant to complement an elegant gown at a royal ball or high society gala. They catch the light, dazzle the eye, and seem almost magical in their glitter. But within the walls of the British monarchy, a tiara is far more than just jewelry. Each delicate arch, each carefully chosen gemstone, carries with it centuries of tradition, meaning, and unspoken messages. To the casual observer, it may seem like a glamorous accessory. To insiders, it is a symbol, a language, and a tool of influence. The history of tiaras stretches back thousands of years to the great civilizations of Persia, Rome, and even ancient Egypt, where crowns and headpieces were worn by rulers to declare their authority and divine favor. Over time, these sparkling crowns evolved, becoming intricate works of art crafted with precious metals and gemstones, each designed to reflect not just beauty, but status and power. For monarchs, a tiara was never simply about adornment. It was a visual declaration of influence, a silent but unmistakable signal of where someone stood in the social and political order. Within the royal family today, the rules surrounding tiaras are complex, unwritten, yet strictly observed. The choice of which tiara to wear and when is carefully considered. A delicate diamond bandeau might signal elegance and understated sophistication, while a towering, heavily jeweled coronet might convey authority or prominence. Every appearance at a state banquet, a diplomatic reception, or a royal wedding is an opportunity to send subtle cues about rank, alliances, and standing within the family hierarchy. Guests and courtiers alike are trained to notice these signals, reading them as carefully as they would the spoken word. Even the act of wearing or not wearing a tiara can speak volumes. A tiara left behind in the royal safe could hint at a message of restraint, deference, or strategic humility. Conversely, selecting a particularly historic or famous piece can signal confidence, pride, or even ambition. In royal circles, nothing is accidental, and nothing is purely decorative. Every glittering curve and gleaming gemstone carries meaning, often invisible to the outside world, but understood perfectly within palace walls. In short, tiaras in the British monarchy are living symbols. They are reminders of history, emblems of authority, and tools of influence, silently narrating tales of power, prestige, and social hierarchy. What looks like a beautiful ornament to the public is, behind closed doors, a calculated statement of who holds sway, who is respected, and who is rising in prominence. A language of power worn, quite literally, on the head. Beyond their beauty, tiaras symbolize authority, prestige, and even a sense of divine favor within the royal family. But how are these princess jewels preserved? And what measures are put in place to ensure they are essentially reserved for the specific roles of certain royal family members? Now let's uncover how the crown keeps its glittering legacy. The hidden rules behind the royal jewels. For decades, the late queen carefully oversaw a delicate, almost secret system that governed the royal jewelry collection. On the surface, these magnificent pieces, sparkling tiaras, glittering necklaces, and ornate brooches belonged to the crown and were technically the property of the monarchy as an institution. But behind the scenes, a far more intricate story unfolded. Many of these jewels became closely tied to the lives and roles of individual royal women, creating a silent but powerful hierarchy among the crown's treasures. Within this unwritten system, certain tiaras and necklaces were not merely ornaments, they were symbols of status, lineage, and duty. Some were effectively reserved for specific roles, especially those associated with the Princess of Wales. This wasn't about favoritism or whimsy. It was a calculated approach to maintaining continuity across generations. By carefully assigning certain pieces to particular women, the Queen ensured that each royal event, from state dinners to coronations, would reflect centuries of tradition and symbolism. Every time a future queen wore one of these tiaras, it sent a subtle but unmistakable message. The monarchy, its history, and its line of succession remained unbroken. The system also created a kind of silent mentorship, linking jewels to personal journeys. A tiara that once adorned a grandmother's head at a historic ceremony might later be passed to her granddaughter when the time is right. In this way, each piece became a bridge between the past and the present, carrying stories, triumphs, and even whispered secrets of the women who had worn it before. Wearing one of these treasures was never purely decorative. It was a responsibility, a nod to centuries of royal precedent, and a signal to the world that history and duty were inseparable. This careful orchestration also protected the collection itself. By anchoring the most historic jewels to specific roles, the crown safeguarded them from dispersal or misuse, keeping the heart of the monarchy intact. It wasn't just about keeping gems in a vault. It was about preserving meaning. Every sparkling diamond, every delicate sapphire became a chapter in the monarchy's ongoing story, connecting the present royals to their illustrious predecessors. In essence, the late Queen's approach transformed the jewelry collection from a dazzling display of wealth into a living, breathing archive of tradition, power, and legacy. Through these carefully managed assignments, the monarchy ensured that its most treasured jewels weren't merely worn. They were honored, remembered, and woven into the fabric of the crown itself, shining not only with beauty, but with history, continuity, and a subtle, enduring message about the line of succession. The late Queen of England carefully preserved the honor of the tiaras, especially those linked to specific members of the royal family. But is the current queen consort following her footsteps, or is she redefining the legacy of these iconic jewels? Now let's explore how the Queen is rewriting the rules of royal jewelry. Camilla's bold shift. Since ascending to her role as Queen, Camilla has brought a distinctly modern touch to the royal jewelry collection. Where tradition once dictated that certain tiaras and sparkling heirlooms were closely tied to specific royal women, she has introduced a new sense of flexibility, quietly shaking up centuries of precedent. Under her guidance, pieces that were long tucked away in the palace vaults, rare, exquisite, and often almost forgotten, have begun to see the light of day once more. Gems that were once considered the personal adornment of one royal figure are now being shared, appearing on different members of the family at public events. At first glance, this change feels refreshing. Historic treasures, some rarely glimpsed by the public for decades, are sparkling again on state occasions, charity galas, and royal tours. The sight of these jewels on new faces breathes fresh life into the monarchy's visual legacy, reminding the world that the crown's collection is not just a static archive, but a living, evolving reflection of the family itself. There is an undeniable thrill in seeing a tiara worn by someone who has never carried it before, a small surprise that sparks curiosity, admiration, and even a touch of gossip among royal watchers. Yet beneath the glittering surface, this shift carries weighty implications. For centuries, the assignment of specific pieces to certain women helped preserve tradition, hierarchy, and continuity within the royal family. Every tiara, necklace, or brooch wasn't just jewelry. It was a symbol, a signal, a carefully orchestrated link to history. Altering who can wear what, even subtly, inevitably reshapes the quiet rules that have long guided the monarchy's public image and private etiquette. Long-standing expectations, once unquestioned, are now evolving under the Queen's hand. Camilla's approach is as strategic as it is aesthetic. By opening up the collection, she encourages the younger generation to engage with their heritage in a more personal, dynamic way, while also showcasing the monarchy's ability to adapt without losing its grandeur. Yet this blending of innovation with tradition does not come without tension. Those accustomed to the old order may find the changes unsettling, a reminder that even the most glittering symbols of royalty are not immune to evolution. In essence, Camilla is doing more than sharing jewels. she is subtly redefining what it means to uphold royal tradition in the 21st century. Through this delicate balance of respect and reinvention, the Queen is letting history shine anew, while quietly rewriting the rules that govern the crown's most treasured treasures. Each sparkling piece now carries a dual legacy, one of age-old symbolism and another of modern, carefully measured freedom. Camilla has introduced new rules for the use of tiaras, making these glittering treasures more accessible and wearable for royals, regardless of their status. But does this change favor anyone in particular? And who is benefiting most from her new approach? Now let's uncover how the Duchess of Edinburgh has become a star of the royal jewels, a quiet royal becoming a tiara powerhouse. One royal who has undeniably flourished under the monarchy's evolving approach to its glittering treasures is Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. Over the years, Sophie has developed a remarkable reputation for her fearless and elegant use of royal jewelry. From striking aquamarine tiaras that catch the eye with every turn of her head, to historic pieces carefully preserved from the late Queen's legendary collection, she has worn it all with a natural grace that seems to fuse tradition with modern style. Each tiara she chooses tells a story, not just of beauty, but of history, status, and the subtle power of presentation within the royal family. As Sophie's role within the monarchy has grown, so too has her visibility on the international stage. She has become a familiar presence at high-profile state dinners, diplomatic banquets, and global charity events. At each appearance, her jewelry has become a talking point, drawing admiration not only from royal enthusiasts, but also from fashion critics and journalists alike. Her choices are bold, yet thoughtful, blending pieces steeped in history with a sense of personal style that makes her stand out among the royal family's well-documented elegance. A key factor in Sophie's rising prominence is the Queen's modern approach to the royal jewelry collection. By allowing greater access to historic treasures that were once carefully restricted to particular royal figures, Camilla has opened doors for Sophie to experiment and shine. Pieces that had long rested quietly in the vaults are now seeing the light of day, and Sophie has seized these opportunities with poise and flair. The result is a series of unforgettable appearances in which the Duchess has transformed ancient heirlooms into contemporary statements. Turning every tiara, necklace, or brooch into more than a piece of jewelry, it becomes a headline moment. Royal watchers have taken note. Sophie's tiara-clad appearances are quickly becoming some of the most talked-about moments at royal gatherings, captivating audiences with a combination of history, elegance, and personality. Each time she steps out in a new piece, she not only honors the monarchy's past, but also reshapes expectations for how modern royals can engage with tradition. Her growing confidence with these jewels highlights a subtle but significant shift. The monarchy is embracing adaptability, allowing its members to honor legacy while showcasing individuality. In essence, Sophie's rise as a star of the royal jewelry scene reflects more than personal style. It embodies the monarchy's evolving balance between heritage and modernity. Through her, the past and present collide, creating moments that sparkle not just with gems, but with the allure of a royal woman fully coming into her own. Sophie has proven that when history is given freedom and tradition meets opportunity, the result can be dazzling in every sense of the word. Beyond Camilla's tiara rules that seem to favor the Duchess of Sophie, what could have prompted her to introduce such changes in the first place? Was she trying to make a name for herself with this new approach? Or did she intend to curb the influence and popularity of certain royal members who have long worn these tiaras with pride and honor? Let's find out. When a tiara becomes a power statement, in the royal world, jewelry is never just about sparkle and beauty. Every piece carries weight, symbolism, and a story of power. According to palace insiders, a recent tiara moment involving Princess Kate may have stirred more than admiration. It may have quietly rattled palace dynamics behind closed doors. During a major royal event, Kate chose a particularly striking tiara, one that gleamed with an almost magnetic elegance. Paired with her graceful poise and calm confidence beside Prince William, the effect was electric. Photographers captured every angle, and within hours, images of the couple were dominating international headlines. To the public, it was simply a stunning display of royal fashion. But inside the palace, these carefully curated moments are read differently. Jewelry in this world is a language of hierarchy, tradition, and influence, and a tiara is a powerful symbol of status. Kate's bold choice, combined with the prominence of her stance next to the future king, reinforced their emerging role as the central figures of the monarchy. For onlookers, it showcased their elegance and unity. For insiders, it subtly signaled that the next generation of royal leadership was stepping firmly into the spotlight. Some close observers suggested that this moment may have left Queen Camilla feeling, if not sidelined, then at least slightly overshadowed. Even a single jewel, carefully selected and elegantly worn, can shift the energy of a room, changing who commands attention and subtly redefining perceived roles within the family. While no one would speak openly about tension, insiders hint that such appearances are rarely neutral. They can provoke a ripple effect of emotions, calculations, and strategic decisions behind palace walls. This incident underscores just how potent royal jewelry can be. It's not simply about aesthetics, it is a tool for shaping perception, reinforcing status, and navigating centuries of tradition. Every choice, from the size of a necklace to the sparkle of a tiara, carries meaning. For Princess Kate, the tiara became more than an accessory. It became a statement of her growing influence and the couple's undeniable presence in the public eye. In the end, the episode serves as a reminder that in the monarchy, even the smallest details are loaded with significance. A tiara is never neutral. It can elevate, dazzle, and charm the public, but it can also subtly recalibrate the balance of attention and prestige within the palace itself. One shimmering moment, captured in countless photographs, can quietly reshape who stands at the heart of the royal narrative, proving that in this glittering world, power and beauty are inseparably intertwined. Camilla's tiara rule may have been born out of jealousy toward Kate, who has long been admired for wearing these sparkling jewels and capturing global attention. But how exactly does a tiara define the influence of Kate and her husband? Could it be elevating them above other royal members? And did Camilla fear being overshadowed, prompting her to introduce this new rule? Let's find out. The rising influence of William and Kate. As the monarchy continues to evolve, Prince William and Princess Kate have gradually stepped into ever more prominent roles, taking on responsibilities that highlight them as the next generation of royal leadership. Their presence at major public events, from state banquets to international tours, has become increasingly consistent, demonstrating both dedication and poise. Each carefully curated appearance reinforces their image as a modern yet traditional royal couple, capable of carrying the legacy of the crown into a new era. To the outside world, the transition of influence may seem seamless, almost effortless. The public sees a polished, harmonious partnership representing stability and continuity. A couple whose charm and confidence appear perfectly matched to the demands of monarchy. But insiders reveal that within the palace walls, the picture is far more nuanced. Shifts in responsibility, prominence, and public attention inevitably create subtle ripples among the royal household, where tradition, hierarchy, and etiquette are deeply entrenched. Even minor changes in who stands in the spotlight can be noticed, analyzed, and quietly debated. For Princess Kate, these shifts carry particular weight. As her role grows, so does the significance of every detail in her public appearances. A carefully chosen tiara, a necklace inherited from a previous generation, or a brooch with deep historical resonance is no longer just a fashion choice. It is a statement. Each piece she wears is observed for meaning, subtly communicating her growing influence, confidence, and readiness to embrace the responsibilities that come with being future queen. Palace watchers, fashion commentators, and the media alike scrutinize these appearances, often interpreting symbolism that insiders say is intentional, strategic, or at least meaningful within the family. Prince William's increasing visibility alongside Kate amplifies this effect. The couple's unity, confidence, and seamless teamwork at public events demonstrate leadership, while their poise in ceremonial and diplomatic contexts reassures the public that the monarchy's future is in capable hands. But this visibility also changes the dynamics inside the palace. Traditions that once dictated the prominence of certain figures or the subtle hierarchy of appearances now adapt in response to the couple's growing centrality. Even small gestures, like who stands where during a photo op or which tiara is chosen for a gala, carry new significance. Ultimately, the rise of William and Kate reflects more than personal ambition. It embodies the monarchy's careful balance between continuity and renewal. Their expanding roles are a signal of change, a gentle recalibration of influence, and a subtle reminder that in the royal world, power is often expressed not only through titles and duties, but through presence, poise, and even the smallest details of public presentation. Each step they take in the public eye, each jewel they wear, and each appearance they make contributes to the story of a monarchy quietly preparing for the future, one glittering moment at a time. Camilla's new tiara rule could impact the growing influence of Kate and William, both within the royal circle and in the public eye. But will this rule go unchallenged? And if someone were to challenge it, what evidence might they present to challenge it? Now let's dive into why William is so careful about royal jewelry. Protecting tradition. The evolving dynamics within the royal family help explain why Prince William appears deeply protective of certain long-standing traditions, especially those tied to royal jewelry. In the monarchy, a tiara is never just a sparkling accessory. It is a symbol, a statement, and sometimes a reminder of history itself. Many of the most iconic pieces, particularly those associated with the Princess of Wales, carry layers of meaning that stretch back decades. Some were famously worn by his mother, Princess Diana, whose elegance and charisma helped define the modern royal image. For William, ensuring that these tiaras and other heirlooms are used thoughtfully is about far more than fashion. It is about preserving a narrative, a visual legacy that signals the continuity of the crown. Each carefully chosen piece conveys authority, respect, and the weight of centuries of tradition. When Kate dons a tiara once worn by Diana, the message is immediate and powerful. The future queen is stepping into her role, connected to the past yet fully present in the moment. William understands that these symbols resonate not only within the family, but with the public at large, who have long associated specific jewels with specific royal figures. In this sense, jewelry becomes a subtle form of communication, a way of reinforcing roles and responsibilities without a single word being spoken. But the modernization of the royal jewelry collection under Queen Camilla introduces new complexities. As tiaras and necklaces are shared more freely among different members of the royal family, the clear visual associations that once reinforced the Princess of Wales's role risk becoming blurred. From William's perspective, too much flexibility could weaken the symbolic impact of these historic pieces, diluting the messages that have been carefully cultivated over generations. He sees the preservation of these traditions not as a matter of stubbornness, but as a necessary measure to maintain the dignity, authority, and continuity of the monarchy. In essence, safeguarding these jewels is about protecting something far greater than gemstones. It is about preserving the story of the crown, the carefully layered hierarchy, and the visual language that has guided royal perception for decades. For William, every tiara, brooch, or necklace carries the potential to tell, or to muddle, that story. By ensuring that the pieces historically tied to the Princess of Wales are worn with intent, he is quietly defending the legacy of the future queen, honoring his mother's memory and reinforcing the subtle yet powerful symbols that underscore the monarchy's enduring influence. In a world where a single glittering piece can shift attention, reinforce hierarchy, and convey authority, William's vigilance shows that royal jewelry is never just about appearance. It is about legacy, lineage, and the future of the crown itself. William is far from pleased with Camilla's rule, as many of the tiaras are historically connected to his wife, and wearing them has long been a way for Kate to honor and preserve his mother's legacy. But what does Camilla's rule reveal about the underlying tensions within the monarchy? And how can this delicate situation be managed without escalating further? Let's uncover the details. The modern monarchy's delicate dance. The evolving rules surrounding royal tiaras have come to reveal something far deeper than fashion or sparkle. They highlight a fascinating challenge facing the modern monarchy. Queen Camilla seems determined to put her own mark on tradition, embracing a more flexible approach to the royal jewelry collection. Under her guidance, rare and long-forgotten treasures are being brought out of the palace vaults, dazzling the public once again and giving historic pieces a new lease on life. Where once certain tiaras were strictly tied to specific royal women, now jewels are being shared more freely, appearing on faces that generations of observers might not have expected. On the other side of the palace equation is Prince William, who remains acutely focused on protecting the historical symbolism attached to these jewels. Many of the most iconic tiaras and heirlooms are associated with the Princess of Wales, including pieces famously worn by his late mother, Princess Diana. For William, preserving these visual connections is about more than personal sentiment. It is a matter of safeguarding the narrative of the monarchy itself. Each jewel is a symbol of continuity, status, and the subtle authority of the future king and queen. If these carefully curated traditions are loosened too far, the powerful messages carried by these tiaras risk being diluted, and the visual language of royal hierarchy could become muddled. As the monarchy adapts to changing times, both Princess Kate and Duchess Sophie have become central players in this evolving story. Kate's gradual return to royal duties, paired with Sophie stepping into a more prominent and visible role, has added new layers of complexity. Their appearances in historic jewels have transformed the collection into something more than an assortment of glittering accessories. It has become a stage on which the future of the monarchy is being quietly negotiated. Each tiara, necklace, or brooch worn at a gala, state banquet, or diplomatic event now carries weight, carrying messages about influence, status, and continuity. This tension between modernization and tradition creates an almost cinematic dynamic within the palace. On one hand, there is the excitement of bringing rare treasures into the spotlight, breathing life into heirlooms that had long rested in silence. On the other, there is the careful need to honor centuries of protocol, ensuring that the symbols of authority remain intact and meaningful. The tiaras are not just decorative, they are instruments in a delicate balancing act, representing a monarchy that must adapt to the modern world while remaining rooted in history. Ultimately, the evolving rules surrounding royal jewelry illustrate the monarchy's broader challenge: how to honor the weight of tradition while embracing the freedom and flexibility of the present. In this glittering intersection of history, personality, and symbolism, the crown is negotiating its future, one tiara, one brooch, and one carefully staged appearance at a time. The outcome is not just about jewels, it is about how the modern monarchy can continue to captivate the world, uphold its legacy, and navigate the delicate dance between past and future. So what do you make of Camilla's new tiara rule? Could it truly be sustained? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.